All right, I think it started now. Took me a second. I accidentally had to get my webcam working again. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. Mm-hmm. Yes? Okay, cool. All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say hi to everyone and thank you for showing up. Had a little bit of technical glitch there for a second. I really thought I was like, oh my god, it's not starting. I couldn't find the way to get back to the share screen. It was chaos as usual. But yeah, hi Dennis. Hi Chris. Nice to see you guys. Hi Queen Victor. From Scotland. I wanted to make sure I said hi to you because I was like, wow, from Scotland. That's pretty freaking sweet, man. Let's see. Hi, MT80. Mm-hmm. Not sure how I would say that, but hello. I'm glad to see you. I'm super excited for this too. It's been a while. And hi, Miss Liz, White Swan there. Always a pleasure. Always. Hello, Joyce. And what is that one? Fifi Jules. Oh, sweet, sweet name. All right, here we go. Oh, and Lacey. Hi, Lacey. It's nice to see you guys here. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, I appreciate that. And that you'll rewatch it later. Okay. All right. So it's been a hot minute since I've been able to do a live stream. So I'm definitely happy and excited to be back. If anyone hasn't already caught my interview that I did with Robert Earl White on his channel, Order of Light, I definitely suggest that you go and check that out and subscribe to his channel and stuff because we had a really fun time talking. And we didn't even get to the whole story. We didn't even get to all the things that we had done, like a little pre-interview ahead of time. And we had all this stuff just ready to go. And we did not, we didn't even get to all of it. Oh, yeah. So let's take a deep breath here for a second. So that way we can get into the stream of it. Here we go. And I'm just going to tell you all right now that I'm in the middle of a crazy hot flash. I don't even know what you call it. Hot flashes for a while now. And so if you see me do this, this is just because I'm literally catching fire and trying to bring the fire to the world, I guess. I feel like I'm, if any of you have seen the movie, I watched a movie recently called The Holy Mountain. And it was an amazing movie. I absolutely loved it. It's an older movie, but it was absolutely my style. And I loved every second of it. I even rewatched it like a second time the next day because I loved it so much. And I'll tell you right now, I feel like if any of you have seen that movie, I feel like I am in the alchemist chamber. I feel like I am in the little incubation egg, okay, where he's like on fire and they're like turning him into gold. And that is literally what I feel like right now with all these hot flashes that I'm having. Every time I'm like, oh my God, this better be just like activations or something. I don't know. It's so much. So, I don't know. If you guys want to pray for some healing for me, that this settles down eventually, because it's quite annoying if anyone has ever experienced something like that when you're trying to sleep anyway, especially. Like I can tolerate it mostly in the day, but when I'm trying to sleep and you wake me up, I'm not a happy camper. And the next day, I'm not a happy camper. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about today was I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up actually on my last live stream that I did, where it was a while ago. Okay. But if you haven't caught that already, I hope that you do. And what I'm talking about here, just for a moment, because I realized that I left something out of the last one, where I was basically talking about my January 6th experience, okay, with some of the astral work that I did, and how it connected with a girl that I was close friends with now, okay? So we connected, Jenny Constantine, through this astral work that I did to try and help the people down there stay safe, basically. And what I forgot to mention was that I was noticed. I was noticed in the astral when I was doing this thing. I was noticed by some people. And, after all of the stuff that had happened on January 6th down in the Capitol on Inauguration Day, which was the 20th, obviously, of January, I got woke up. And this was my first real experience, honestly, with a psychic attack. If I had been in the past, no, I'm going to say no. This was my first, like, okay, this is a psychic attack experience. Okay, so I'm going to just going to go over it here so you guys can see if maybe you have felt something like this before, and I'll tell you how I dealt with it. So they're quite difficult, though. I was very thrown off. So on the 20th, like I said, I had been noticed for the work I had done on the 6th, and on the 20th, the morning of the 20th, I keep repeating myself, sorry. I got woken up at about 6 a.m. Okay. And I started having just this overwhelming panic attack. Like it woke me up out of a dead sleep, and I get up and I start pacing because my body literally feels like it's being overloaded with electricity in a way. It was like something is not right. Something is going on, and I just felt this wave of fear and anxiety. And so I started doing what I always do when I have a panic attack, which I kind of pace. I pace back and forth, and I usually lock into a phrase or a mantra, and I just keep repeating that until the panic attack wave passes. But this time there was something different happening. This time there was a presence, so to speak, and this presence was looking for my fears. That is how it got in. It got in through a hole that I had in my aura already, which I didn't realize that was how it works. Okay. Like they get in and they use what's already there to get in and to amplify that. And so what they had gotten in to do is they got into this fear that I had of not having a home, because at the time I was living with my ex, and we were not together. I had no idea how I was going to get out of the situation. And we were actually sharing my childhood home that I lived in with my parents before they moved out, and they let us buy it. And so the fear that they used against me was the fear that I would be kicked out, that he would kick me out and I would have nowhere to go. And I have all these children, and that's a terrifying thought. And so it came over me, and they just got inside. And when this fear came over me, I had to confront it. And I immediately realized, like, well, you know what? I have no control over that. I have no control over if that is going to happen or not. Like there's literally nothing I can do about it. So why should I even worry about being afraid of it? Because you know what? Instead, I think I'm going to trust God. I think I'm going to trust God, and I'm going to have faith and trust the universe that even if something like that were to happen, that there would be an alternative, and that I would find a way. I would find a way to be okay. And I would find a place for me and my children. And I let the fear go. And as soon as I did that, the panic attack passed, the psychic attack passed. And I felt good. I felt good about the fact that I had gotten through it. But at the same time, the clear message that they had sent to me was, do not show yourself down here. Do not come here today. You are not welcome here. And you know what? I did. I stayed away. At that point, I was like, you know what? I am done with the political ring. I'm done with it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it to me at that point anymore. So that was when I stepped back from really engaging in politics, Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, it's not that it even stopped after that, quite honestly, because, there are entities out there that will absolutely use this information to their advantage. And they will, if you have loved ones around you that are not the most healed up, and they have their own traumas and their own wounds that entities can get in through, and they will get in there and they will work through that loved one to attack you. And that is what happened after that, because even though I faced that fear that morning and I was able to let it go and let it pass, now they knew a way to get to me, though. And so now they started working through my ex, and he would go through these bursts. It was weird. It was like another person would take over inside of him, and he would start threatening, like, I'm going to evict you. I'm going to kick you out. Like, you need to have a plan. Like, I'm like, You know my plan. I'm literally working on that plan. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this makes no sense. And just every now and then, every, I don't know, couple months, that's what would happen. He would get taken over. It would last for about 30 minutes. And he would just say the most horrible things that he could say. But always, always driving home, I'm going to kick you out and you're going to be homeless. And this was my childhood home. I'm like, what is going on here? But as a mother, it's hard not to worry and be afraid about not having a place for your children to sleep. So it was effective. It did get to me. And it was like testing. It was like initiation of, learn how to deal with this. You need to learn how to have a defense against this, and it did teach me that. I do think it did teach me the best defense against that, which is love and forgiveness, and so that's really going to be the theme here today as far as defenses against the dark arts. I'm going to show you how through love and forgiveness that it can really take away the power that dark arts and dark magicians and black magic, whatever you want to call it, the power that it has upon people. You have to learn how to go deeper inside yourself with love and forgiveness and kindness and compassion, and be able to recognize yourself in every person somehow. So we're going to get more to that in a minute, okay? Because I do have an experience to share with you guys about literally having been attacked by a black magician. I have had someone try to kill me before with this type of stuff, and so I'm going to tell you the experience I had with that, and I'm going to tell you what I did as a result, and I think it was really effective in the long run. But first, I wanted to tell you guys, share another thing with you. I want to share something completely different. Okay, something a little bit lighter before we go into that heavy energy of the next part of the live stream. Okay, so just recently, I had an experience where my mom got a hold of me, and she basically told me that my niece, who's very young, okay, was in the hospital, and she was really, really sick. She said all she told me was that, your niece is in the hospital, and it's been 4 days. And immediately, like, my heart just like, oh no, like, I can't even imagine. Like, that's awful. Like, being in the hospital, like, hospitals, man. The energy of hospitals, I try to avoid those at all costs. That's really the reason I went into Homebrook midwifery, was because I was like, if I have an option to not go to the hospital and do what, have a baby, then that's the one I'm going to take. I will figure out how to deal with the pain, which it's water birth. That's the key. Water, okay? Helps the pain. And hypnosis, hypnotherapy for pain relief during childbirth. I was a hypnotherapist for that. It's called hypnobirthing. That was the name of the workshops and stuff that I got trained in and certified in. And it really works. It really works. So tell that to anyone who's expecting, or women that are going to have baby. You can tell them that I told you that. So anyway, I try to avoid hospitals at all costs. And so immediately my heart sank for my niece. And so I decided to pray for her. I decided to actually try to send her healing. And the reason I'm sharing this with you right now is because of just the amazing result that happened because of this. And it's something that it's taken me a while to like slowly accept that this is a real thing, and that when people do these things for other people, it can be so powerful. It can be so powerful. So this is what I did. I went into myself, okay, and I saw her in my mind, okay. I basically remote viewed her. I basically went to go see her, and I used to do this with my midwifery clients too. When they were in labor, I would just go to them, and I would pop into their body is what I would do, and I would see where the baby is at, how far along they were, the dilation, and I would write this stuff down, and then later on I would go and I would confirm it, like, what were you doing at this time, and so that's when I started to realize, okay, this is a real thing. I can really do this type of stuff. So what I did for her in this regard was I went and I did the body scan on my niece, and what I saw was, and this was before I knew what the diagnosis was, what I saw was that her digestive tract was inflamed. I saw that her lungs, there was something going on with the lungs. I heard spirit tell me staph infection, and I smelt mold a little bit of mold. And so what I decided to do was, first of all, I always envelop the wounded area with a blue light. Okay, like a blue bubble, like a dark blue. Okay, so I put her entire body into a casing of blue. And then I went to her digestive tract because I figured that's where that was really upset from whatever sickness she was having, and probably antibiotics, because that's the first thing that they're going to pump you full of. And I took a blue flame, and I burned all the stuff that was nasty inside of there. I burned it all away from the intestines and the stomach and all the whole area. And then I cleaned up the mess with like a blue gel that I use, like sparkly blue gel, and I cleaned it all up. And then I went to her lungs and I filled her lungs with the whitest light that I could think of, like the sunlight just coming into her lungs and coming into the body. And I told my mom, well, first of all, I went back after I did this and I said, my prayer to her, like I told my angels and my guides and my guardians, I said, please keep this blue bubble around her for as long as she needs until she's, until it's not necessary anymore. And I went back and I checked my mom's text messages, and she tells me, oh, yeah, she's got pneumonia, bacterial infection. And they absolutely have been giving her, it's in both of her lungs. And they've been giving her lots of antibiotics. So she was just absolutely miserable. And I could feel that. And I told my mom, I said, well, I sent her some healing and she'll be feeling better by tonight. Because sometimes you got to claim this, because we are all working together. We are all connected. So when you encourage someone in these ways, first of all, especially if you believe it yourself and you have that authority inside of you, that frequency of authority and personal sovereignty inside you, you can do this and it will help the others catch on, and we'll pull that timeline in of this is what's about to happen. Okay. So I told my mom she's going to be better by tonight, and then she told me, and worse off now, that my brother was sick. Okay. So I'm like, wow, like my brother has 4 children. Okay. So this was really devastating to him because he's a good father. He really loves his children. And this is his baby girl. So he was really, really upset about it. So I decided, you know what, I'll go and I'll do a body scan of him too. So let me explain that a little bit more so maybe you can try and do it. Okay. Because remote viewing, I don't know how it just comes so naturally to me. All I do is I just close my eyes and I think about that person. I pull the energy of that person inside of me, and I can see a vision of like where they're at. I can see like a little picture, like a movie, okay, like a movie scene, and I could see like that he was at her bedside, okay, and I could feel him, and even now thinking about it, and closing my eyes and thinking about it, I could feel it'll feel like it's in your own body, okay. So as I was scanning him, I could feel that there was a big knot inside of him of like anxiety and fear and just worry, and that it literally was making him sick. Like that was the thing that was making him sick. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and clear that. I'm just going to go ahead and clear that for him. So I started working on it. I started pulling it through. And as I was pulling it through, I was seeing like visions, okay, of just different life scenarios for him. But the most prominent one was of him honestly crying to my mom, and like just so upset, just like, mom, like I need help. I don't know what to do. And so I went back to my mom and I told her, well, Jesse is basically my brother, Jesse. I'm like, he's basically sick because of fear. I'm like, this is because he's upset about his baby girl being in the hospital. And I said, but I went ahead and I cleared that. And I was like, and she said, well, I believe you on that one, because he basically broke down crying to me the other night about how upset he was, And so it's like, there's the confirmation. There's the confirmation I needed to know that I was clearing that for him. Okay. And sure enough, a few hours later, my mom got a hold of me and she told me that my niece was feeling better and now she's okay. So it only took a couple hours, but it happened. And, this is not the first time that I've noticed that stuff like this happens when I go and I do this stuff, and I really think that it's our imagination and it's our heart's intentions of what we really want to do and really want to heal that person. I think if we all helped each other out, the mind is just such a powerful thing. So I definitely encourage you guys to send healing to one another. Use some of those techniques. Come up with some of your own. It can be anything. It can look like anything. Oh boy. Oh man, I got a sex spot. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, all right, enough. Okay, sorry. Let's get back on track. Right, that just cracks me up. Like I can't believe I'm like, wow. I feel. I don't know. I feel like kind of special. Like, wow, I had to troll my chat. Okay, so my YouTube channel is finally getting recognized. Right, we're getting more subscribers all the time. But thank you, Miss Liz, for handling that. Okay. So anyway, I've done this before, and I just remembered the key too. One of the keys that I think is important is music. I think music is really important because, the first time that I did it, the first time I really connected to someone for that type of a healing, I was listening to a song, and as I was listening to that song, and I was doing a dance that I do, okay, however the music moves through me is what the dance is going to look like. And I thought about this friend that I have as a girlfriend, and I got connected to her. I could feel it. Like I that was how I know that you pull this person's energy to you, kind of. And we got connected, and so I started doing a scan on her. Okay, and she actually had some kind of disconnect going here between this chakra and her third eye chakra, and there was something going on with the eye right here. And so I started running some energy through the eye. And I had no idea if I was going to get confirmations. Okay. Spirit just guides me to do these things. And then the confirmations show up afterward, so that's why it's like, if you just take that chance, and if you're doing something, I really do think that you will be told, you will get the sign, and you'll know it's the confirmation because it'll hit your heart a certain way. You're like, oh man, it worked, like, oh, that was that it really helped. So how did it work out with the girlfriend with the eye problem? Because I had no idea if I was going to be accurate or not. And this was really at the beginning of my schooling for galactic shamanism at the Earth Star Academy. And so I texted her, and I told my friend, I said, it was kind of weird, but I said, I kind of accidentally, I think maybe did some kind of energy work on you today. I was like, I totally didn't really mean to, but it's like, I was listening to music and I was thinking about you, and suddenly my heart was just connected, and then boom, it happened, And she said, well, that's really funny that it was something about my eye, because I actually have an eye doctor appointment tomorrow. So I'm like, wow, like that kind of works out, well, I didn't expect anything to come from it. So she goes to the doctor, and they do the scan or whatever, and she finds out, they do like x-ray or like whatever they do when they look in the eye. Okay. And they found out that she actually had almost a detached retina on the side that I was doing the work on. And they said, oh, but you know what? It's good. It's okay. We do have to do surgery on you. They were like, but it's a good thing you've already had surgery on it before. And she's like, what are you talking about? I've never had surgery on it before. And she's like, no. They're like, no, you can see that. And they showed her on the thing. They're like, you can see these little lines. These are healing lines that only would happen if you had had a surgery on it. And I'm like, wow. Like it's just mind blowing that these things can even take place. Like, so I really think it's just God granting you permission, to work through you to heal each other. So the song that I like to play when I'm healing people now is a song from Sleeping Beauty. And it is the melody from when they are granting Princess Aurora, the fairies, when they're granting her gifts of song, her gifts of beauty, and it's like one gift. You guys can go look it up. But anyway, so that really helps me, because I don't know, it gets me but use what works for you. What gets you in that mode? What gets you in that mind state of being a magical being? Because fairy music, that the fairies doing what they were doing in that movie, that is what gave me the inspiration to use that. Okay. So like I said, music is powerful. Music is a powerful healer. It is, it gets you in those spaces that you need to be in order to do the work, to help us reorganize our life in a way to where we can get to where we want to go, which, if you know me and you've watched any of my channel, you know what it is. It's the highest timeline of love and joy, for Earth and all of her creatures, which is all of us. And I really think that if you are here hearing my message right now, that you are already in alignment with that. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you making that choice for all of us, because it helps. And we can do this. We can do this together. We got this. Okay. So, getting ready to switch gears here for a second. And hi to all the new people that have come in the chat. Hi, Grace Aquarius. I love your name. Hi, that dude. Oh, let's see. What else? Who else? Anyone else new? Michelle Martinez. Nice to see you guys. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you guys being here. Oh, Geraldine. Hi, Geraldine. Oh, hi, Joanna. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, I love you guys so much. Okay. So let's get into the Dark Arts Defense story. So this is a little bit of a vulnerable story. I'm trying to look for the right word for it. Like, not that I'm not used to sharing that kind of type of stuff with you guys, but this one kind of goes into a little bit of the darker side of what I've experienced. So, whew, what's going to take us there? So, okay. I know a lot of people probably haven't heard some of my older stuff at this point, and quite honestly, I have grown, I feel like, and changed so much that I feel like I'm just going to have to retell some of the same stuff that I've already spoke on before. So what I'm going to tell you and let you know is like this. Okay, so how do I even get into this? Okay, so this was a couple years back. Okay, this was before me and my ex that I had lived with, the one that was like, that used my fear against me and stuff about being kicked out. I was still living with him, and this man came into my life over the internet. We never actually physically met in person, but this person knew I was coming into their life. And they told me so because they told me that a very similar type of energy woman 2 times had already tried to come into his life. And he knew this was going to be something important. And I didn't really know the level of how psychic he was and stuff yet at the time. I was really still naive, but this person, I had feelings for them. I immediately had feelings for them for some reason. And when they realized that this was like a meant to be type of thing, I guess they got really scared and nervous, and they blocked me. And I saw it, but then they like immediately unblocked me. But I just happened to be online at just the right time to where I saw that it happened. And when I saw that happen, it felt like I literally almost fell to the ground. I literally, like, my legs just, like, someone ripped the rug out from underneath me. And that was when I realized that the feelings that I had for this person were not the feelings that I had for the ex that I was with. He wasn't my ex at that point yet. And I was just too afraid to confront that lack of connection in that way. But I knew there was something missing. I just didn't know what it was. And having this experience with this man showed me what that was. Like, oh, it's something like that. Okay. So we started talking, and I was making plans to leave my ex for this new man. And, but Spirit was protecting me, because this man was not what he said he was. He basically was a dark magician. And I started getting clues to that fact when Spirit started sending me heart songs that were all Les Miserables related. Okay. And they were giving me the characters of Jean Valjean and the law guy, Javert. That's right, Javert. And so they kept giving me these songs, and I was sharing them because this was new stuff. This was new magic that was coming to me at the time. I had not experienced the power and the magic of music in my life to this degree at that point. So, but this guy had more of a clue to that. Okay, he had already been involved in magic for a long time. He claimed that he was from one of the original peoples of, is it Scotland or Ireland? The Tana Duluth. I feel like I'm not saying that right. I feel like I don't know how to pronounce that right. but it's the original fairy folks, the original people, you know. And he said that his heritage was from this. Okay, and he had even written a whole book on magic. Okay, and not that it was like a popular book or anything, but like he actually did it. He wrote a book, and I bought the book, and I had it, and you know, it seems pretty basic, but so he had a knowledge. Even I was sharing tarot readings with him that I was doing, that I was just like regaining my tarot knowledge and stuff. And I would show him these tarot card spreads, and I come to find out later he absolutely knew how to read those even more than I did, and he was keeping it just very, very secretive. So what Spirit did was, because I was just not seeing these red flags, I was not seeing that the whole point of him coming into my life at all was just to get me to acknowledge what I needed to, what fears I needed to confront as far as the relationship that I was about to get out of. Okay. I was repeating a pattern, and they sent me a dream. This is where it gets creepy. Okay. I've kind of been building up to this. Okay. So they sent me this dream, and in this dream, I was in a cathedral. It was like a Hunchback of Notre Dame type of cathedral. Okay. And there were 2 aisles in this cathedral. And I'm going to try to send you guys the message, the visualization as best I can here. So, you know, if you get some, whatever's popping up into your mind as far as visually right now, you know, just trust that and go with it. So there were 2 aisles in this cathedral. One was bigger, one was a little bit smaller, and it was off to the right. And at the end of the first aisle, there was a man. He was kind of bigger, and he looked like the guy from Star Wars, Snoke, the bad guy that has like the really weird, deformed kind of looking face. And at the end of in front of him was a tree. It was a big tree, and it was surrounded by a little moat. And it was in darkness, though. Like there was no light above it. It was at it like, I don't know, like I want to say like it's even like the darkness enveloped it more, you know, at the top there. And what this guy was doing was he was doing black magic spells. He was taking birds and he was killing them and using their insides to tell the future. And so I noted that's the start of the dream. I'm going there. I see that he's doing this. Okay. Then I try to figure out, okay, well, where is these birds coming from? Because then an angel flew in. A male angel flew in. He had kind of brown white wings, and he was the one bringing him these cups. It was like a gold chalice cup. He'd bring this cup, and he would give him the animal, the bird, and then he would sacrifice it. The snook looking guy would sacrifice it, and he would be telling the future. And so I followed the angel, and into the second hall to the right, there was also another tree. And this tree was a little bit smaller, and it was it had a light above it, and the light was shining down, and there was a moat around it, and there was a woman next to the tree, and she was wearing a white dress and kind of looked like the star card on tarot cards, and she was taking water in these cups, and she was giving it to the angel, and the angel was flying it over to the guy in the other hall. And so he killed 2 birds, and then the third one came. Now I'm like I'm like watching. I'm just watching what they're doing. I'm watching the dream play out. And here comes the third bird that he's going to kill. And I could sense it. I could sense something new was about to happen. And so could the angel. The angel was a little bit hesitant and a little bit scared, but they were like sitting there because they were waiting to see him find out this future that he was about to sacrifice sacrifice this life to see what it was going to be. And he was like, and you thought this was the best way to tell me? He looks at the angel after he saw whatever future that he did not like and he did not want to see. And he thought, this is the best way you thought was going to be the best way to tell me? And then he immediately lunges at the angel and he tries to attack him. And now I'm in the angel's body, and it's me he's trying to get. And I'm flying, and I flew so fast down the hall, and it was just like a real life chase in a movie. Like he was about to get me. He was about to grab me as an angel. And I barely escaped. I barely escaped out that door. And so what started happening around me after I had this dream? Well, for one, I purchased the book of his after this dream, and it happens to that on the cover of this book there was a face mask. Okay, it was like a just a face. It looked like a mask, and it looked like the character for the Star Wars character. It looked just like that. I'm like, oh, what in the? But at the same time, back then, see, now it makes perfect sense. Now I'm like, now I would have been like, oh, this is a red flag, from spirit, and I'm gonna just trust that. But back then, I didn't believe in myself yet. I did not believe in myself the same way I do now. I didn't have that faith. I didn't have that confidence in myself. So that was the first thing. The picture on his book cover looked the same as the Star Wars character that was in my dream. That was him. And then I find out that there's birds around my neighborhood. Now I feed the birds. I have a lot of birds that come to my, just naturally, they come to my house to get the food, obviously. And birds started dropping dead around my house. I have never experienced that before then, and I've not experienced it again since then. Okay, not that a couple dead animals, I never been around, seen one or come across one, but literally, like at my house, like nothing's wrong. They just fell out and they're just dead on the ground. And by the third dead bird that showed up in my house, okay, I knew, okay, this is not good. I could already tell that I'd gotten to the point now where I was repeating the pattern. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to face the fears that I have not been facing about this disconnection between me and the person I'm with. And I'm not going to take the escape route, basically, and leave him for someone else. And so I broke it off with this guy. And I just told him, like, I can't do this. I don't want to make that same mistake. And not only that, but relationships built on the foundation of infidelity, basically, like that is never going to work. Those just don't work. I realized that, like, at that point, like I'm repeating the pattern. Okay, like I can't do that anymore. I like, how do you even learn to trust each other if that's the case? You know what I'm saying? Like it opens a whole bag of worms. A whole can of worms. You don't want to, a bag of worms, whole can of worms. You don't even want to go there. Okay, so just be brave, face the fears. Don't be cowardly. Tell the truth, and see what the next course of action should be from then. So that's what I did. I broke up with this guy, and he basically, this is where he started doing his black magic against me. And I didn't realize it right away, but I should have put two and two together, considering what his book was about, considering what I knew about him, because he was Jalvert. He was the officer that was just trying to hunt the guy in Les Miserables, hunt Jean Valjean, just to see him caged and imprisoned. And I have no doubt that is exactly what he would have done. I think this guy was an angel hunter. I think that he would have caged me. I think he would have kept me there. I think he had plans because, I told him about some of the heart songs that were coming to me about the Les Miserables character. And I said, he didn't know the movie. I was like, well, it's just about, I said, Jalvert is just he's a lawmaker. He's the lawman. Okay. He just wants things to be a certain way. He just gets obsessive about it. And I said, even though the good guy deserved to be off for the punishment that they were giving him for the crime that he supposedly committed, Jalvert just was like, no, this stuff happened to me. And so therefore you have to follow these rules too, because I suffered. So therefore you suffered. I said, and lawmen like that are just the hardest to break. They're right fighters, And he said, that is really weird that that you called him that, because in my gang, my group, my posse, so to speak, okay, he said that his nickname was the Lawman. And I'm just like, okay. At the time, I'm like, okay. So a couple months later, I started realizing, and this is where psychic attacks kind of come in again, because I feel like it gets in through those holes somehow, okay? So I would be driving around, all right, and this doesn't happen to me anymore, but suddenly I kept getting this, there was like a presence there. Again, it feels like someone else is there with me. It literally felt like, and it would happen every night for a couple of weeks. I kept getting this overwhelming feeling of, when I would be driving, they would just be like, you want to swerve into traffic. swerve over to the other side. Like they wanted me to get in a car accident. And I didn't know, I'd not experienced something like this before. So it was really unusual. And something came over me one night and I just was thinking about him. And I was like, I cut off all ties and blocked them and all these things. And I decided to go check. I decided to go check his page, basically. And what I found was very disturbing. He had made quite a few posts about how he wanted me to die. He made one specific comment where he said, "Have fun in your car crash." I'm just like, fuck, excuse my language. I'm like, oh God, that's where this is coming from. I'm like, this guy is trying to curse me into death. That's how upset he was. Because people who have suffered greatly in their life, which he had, and that was part of the reason that I wanted a closer look, was because his story, which was part of what his book was about, was his life story and the tragedy that had happened to him when he was 8 years old and this is really gruesome, guys. He had been attacked by a babysitter when he was 8 years old and almost killed and raped at 8 years old. And so I wanted to see if I can help heal these people. So I tried to get a closer look. And so when that's the love, when you have that in your life for the first time and you've not really experienced the intensity and the beauty of wanting that person, wanting to be with that person, wanting to have that beautiful thing in your life because you think it's going to make your life better. I can understand why he felt the way he did. I just could, guys. And so what I did, this was my defense against this. What I did was I went into my heart space and I prayed to God. And I prayed to God to send him so much love and so much joy and so much happiness, and told him that I forgive him. I forgive him and that I'm sorry that he couldn't have me, basically. And the next day, and from then on out, the thoughts of driving into oncoming traffic and the thoughts of trying to get in a car crash, they went away. So I really think that the key to helping all of us, because the whole reason, I really feel this way, the whole reason people do these bad things or want ill will, wish ill will towards one another, is because they feel so lacking in love and they don't know how to get it. And they just want to feel it. They're just so desperately wanting to feel that love and that connection and feeling special to someone and being able to give someone your love and say, and they're like, yes, I want that. And thank you, So, yeah, that was what ended up happening with that guy. And not just that, but the craziest part is even the angel that was in my dream, okay, what he looked like and everything like that. I actually met the person that looked like him at my the Starseed Adventure Conference, right? The one that with my heart was activated, my sacred marriage to God, and I thanked him. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that I was seeing this guy in person, and that was part of what told me too that guy coming into my life, that was an attempt to stop me from being fully activated. That was an attempt to hold me back and to get me back on a different path. And I'm just so grateful that I had people watching out for me, because time does not work how we think it works. Okay, so even though I was meeting this guy in the future, I truly believe that in the astral, time is just, it's not there. It's not present the same way that we think it is. We can go back. We can make changes. We can be there for each other. So I mean, I remember that this was the first time I ever have a tradition of when I go to events, I buy a dragonfly brooch that I give to one person that my heart is just called to give it to. And he was the first person that I was ever called to give the pin to. So I'm just really, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for the connection. And I hope that we can all help each other in these same types of ways. I just really do. Well, I'm having emotions here, guys. I'm like feeling it right now. Okay, let's see if there was anything else. Yep, I went on that. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, so basically that was it. Send people love, wish them well, find a way to forgive. We all need it and we all deserve it. You know, I think that I think that's our best defense. I think that's our best defense when it comes to these dark practices and the evil and the darkness out there in the world. Mm-hmm. So I don't really have too much else to say as far as those messages go, but I did want to pull a card. I figured I'd surprise you guys, and we'll pull a card real quick before I have to go and do the other stuff that I do in the daytime. I have to go get my son soon. So yeah, I figured we could pull a card, and also just wanted to let you guys know that the Starseed Adventures Conference, Vacation Conference is coming up in December. If anyone's still down to join, there's still tickets available. You can find that. Okay, you can find me there because that's where I'll be. If you ever want to meet in person, I will. Oh, I go to these events. I love to go to these events because that's how I get to the people that need that if I'm supposed to help them, that's how I find them. You know, because it's not always so easy to find people out there in the world that to connect to, like especially locally. Like it just I'm surrounded by people who are basically normal people, which is not a dig on normal people. It's not, but like I said before, I kind of take things to a whole new level of weird. So yeah, let's do a card pull and lighten it up before we have to go. Okay, so this is going to be an energy read, a card pull for the collective. Any messages that Spirit has to deliver to us before we go. This is going to be for the next week. Okay, a week energy here. The week energy. I'm just going to ask Spirit to guide us here. Ask the one infinite creator of love and light to please assist us in reading these cards and giving a clear and easy and concise message for people to take. What do people hear now and anyone watching in the future? What do we need to hear? What do we need to hear, guys? Yeah, it was some heavier energy for sure on this stream. What does anyone else need to hear today? What do we need to hear? One second. What does anyone hear? Connecting our hearts. Connecting our hearts. What does people hear need to hear? You got the Page of Rods. Okay, so this is someone new to their craft, so to speak, is what the feeling I'm getting. This is an underdog. This is someone who is really having to give it a go at trying something for the first time, and probably feels like they got it under control, like they have it, but they might actually need a little bit more help. But it's good to try. It's good to try it. Yeah, let's lay another card down on it because I like to do that. So it's harder for me for the one. So yeah, this is for me too. This always means it feels like it's traveling to me. It's like a traveling thing. So for next week, what are we doing? We're doing some traveling, taking a message to someone, like going outside the home. Okay, doing some action outside there, something new, maybe even. Let's see what else though. What else? Yeah, clarifying that. Ooh, no. We got the Queen of Swords. So maybe a message needs to be delivered to a woman who is she's witty. She's a speaker. You know, she's a little bit guarded emotionally, but she's really good at giving her opinion and her advice on things. Let's see what else is going on. She's like a master of words. She knows how to use her pen. She knows how to speak at this point. But like I said, she's a little bit guarded because she maybe has been hurt in the past or whatnot. So something about delivering a message here. Let's go. One more. Okay. Can I get all of the hardest cards? Could I get all of the cards that are hardest for me to fucking understand? Of course. Doesn't matter. It's okay. I'm good. Trust me. I'm good. We're good on this. Okay. So we got the Knight of Cups. Okay, so this is some group activity, I feel like here. This is a group activity. Okay, because we got the younger Page of Rods here, who is learning how to do something new for the first time. And the Knight of Cups. Which is an energy of I feel like it's like the Page of Rod is turning into the Knight of Cups through the help of divine feminine or a woman, that it would be the Queen of Swords who's really good at communicating and guiding, so to speak. So this new activity will lead to opening up more psychically, opening up more emotionally, having a little bit more in the cup, so to speak, then, because it's not a page, it's a knight. Okay. Like deeply emotional. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to say that is the overall energies of the next week. Is perhaps there's definitely some communicating that needs to happen, and bringing a message to maybe even two people, like maybe spreading the message about something. Emotions and thoughts and words. Okay. I'm trusting that. I got it. Okay. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense for someone out there. I'm sure it will make sense for me somehow, because it seems like it always shows up, even when I don't understand it, and then later on it showed like the energies of it will show up, and I'm like, oh, this is what they were talking about. Just like with my memes. Like, I don't even intend to do this half the time, but like I'll post these memes, and then later on that day or maybe the next day, like I'm going through the energies or the situation of the freaking meme that I posted, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is always happening. I love it though. Don't let me fool you. I absolutely love it. I love the magic. I love the way God shows himself to me in life. I love the way they communicate with me. I love it. I don't ever get tired of it. It blows my mind a lot. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to believe that. Like, I don't want to believe what you're saying here. And then it's like, oh, I should have believed him. Should have believed him. Should have listened. Okay. So that's all I have to say, guys. Let's see if there's anything in the chat. Let's see. Anyone else? Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Yeah. Oh, I can feel it. I can hear it. Oh, I appreciate you guys saying that. I was a little, like I said, I felt a little bit heavier after this one because of how, I don't know, it takes me to a place in a time in my life when things were just not as good, and it was very sad. But we fixed it, right? We fixed it, because love is the answer and love is the key. Oh, thanks, Alexis. Nice to see you here. Love you. Oh, New Beginnings. Thank you for showing up. Vanessa. So appreciated. All right. Well, I will be back. I promise I won't let myself go too long again like that. I don't mean time-wise for the stream. I mean like in between the lives. But I'm going to be joining Alexis for Friends Friday on the 9th. So you guys can see me there if you want to go over there and take a look on her channel, Ascension Diaries, and subscribe. She's amazing. Absolutely love her. And other than that, just the Starseed Adventures Vacation Conference. Try to meet me there. If not, I'm just thinking right now. Honestly, I'm thinking about. I'm like, when can I do it again? I hope I can do it next week because I have so much to do. I have to get my hair done. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at those roots. I have to get my hair done. I have to get ready. I have to get all my stuff packed. So I'm going to try and do another stream before I have to get ready to go for to Sedona next week. So hopefully you guys can see me there. And if not, it might be 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll try my best. I love you. Pray. Just you know what? Just send me some good thoughts that God opens up the space and the time for me to be able to do another stream next week. Okay. Oh yeah. Also, could you like and share this video? And just so you know, I really need help sharing it because Facebook banned me for a month for a meme I posted. And it was a meme I posted already. I just had different words on top of the meme. I just had it just okay, and I'll tell you what it said. It just said our algorithms are touching. Okay. And it was a man and a woman holding each other like they're just hugging. I mean, yes, they were naked, but does that really matter? I mean, you couldn't see anything. You know, I thought the rule was just you're not allowed to show nip, you know, but whatever. It's fine. So, oh, nice to see you here, Matthew. You showed up. Always nice to see you around. So yeah, I'm banned for 30 days. So, well, it's 27 now. So I don't know. I'm thinking about making just a business account because I have a backup, but they locked my backup one down too because I friended too many people that were the same and I had my face on it. So a little frustrating, but you know, I've taken it in stride. And so yeah, please help by sharing the video. All right. I love you guys. All right. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave now. Yeah. Okay. We're going. We're leaving. Take care. Love you guys. All right. Let's end it.